Welcome to this session. So far we have studied about tribal social organization, social structure, religion of tribals and rites of passage among tribals in various parts of India. Now we will learn about tribal language, art and culture. Every tribal society in India is very rich in terms of their tribal language, culture as well as their art forms, which are not only vibrant but also conventional. Tribal language, culture and art generally reflect the creative energy found in the tribal areas among the tribal people. Today I will attempt to provide information about their origin, social and cultural characteristics and their present status. The objective is to develop an understanding about the distinct features of the tribal language, culture and art. Let me begin today with tribal languages and tribal art. India, as we know, is a land of multicultural diversities. Defining India has never been an easy task with respect to its cultural plurality and diversity. India encompasses millions of cultural and linguistically diverse languages and dialects. If one tends to define a particular culture or a part of India, it would still be incomplete in the sense that it would still lack the knowledge of another scholar or researcher in that particular field. Hence, the task of defining and understanding India in one specific arena becomes a researcher's plight. The primary objective for us then remains that it should concentrate on the objective factual findings and not subjective conclusions, since terms such as culture or tribes has to be dealt carefully and with much contemplation. India consists of people and traditions which vary from each other from one state to the other. In this session, I will focus on tribes of India with special attention to their languages and art. Let us look into a list of tribal languages in India which constitutes much of the linguistical data in India. Indian languages have evolved from different sets of stocks and are closely related to the different ethnic groups in India. Broadly, the Indian languages can be divided into 6 groups such as Indo-ARYAN, DRAVIDIAN, Sino-Tibetan, Negroid, Austric and others. Languages of India, like the culture and tribes of India, are numerous. It is often believed that in one set of tribe there is also another dialect spoken within the same tribal group. These tribal languages are initially considered to be folk languages spoken by a particular group of tribe. Indian tribal languages can be defined as essentially folk languages spoken by people of ethnic groups who prefer to live in relatively isolated groups. Indian tribal languages can simply be defined as the traditional languages utilized by the tribal folk. Folk in its simplest of definition means group of people. These languages emerge from the tribal languages spoken during time immemorial. Since the languages of the Indian tribes are complex and vary from one another, they are preserved orally in the form of songs, folk tales and legends. The tales of the folk mainly comprise of these languages and dialects. Some of the tribal languages prevalent in India are Abujmariya, GARO, Arya and Sangla, Saurashtri, etc. The GARO language is spoken by the tribal communities residing in and around Garo Hills, Meghalaya, Tripura, Western Assam and Nagaland. Several dialects of this language include Megam, Chisak, Atong, etc. Another tribal language is Abujmariya, which is spoken by the people of Abujmar Hills in Bastar district. The Paite, Thadau, Mar and the Thankul languages are some of the tribal languages spoken in most of the northeastern parts of the Indian subcontinent. Some of the leading tribal language speaking groups comprise Garo tribes, Chakma tribes, Naga tribes, Gond tribes, Mizo tribes, Santhali tribes, Khasiya tribes, Oraon tribes, and Manipuri tribesmen. Apart from these tribal languages, there are some other tribal languages, namely Gadaba, spoken by the people of Koraput district of Orissa, Arya, spoken by the tribal communities of Madhya Pradesh, Sangla, which is spoken in some villages of Arunachal Pradesh. Indian tribal languages are extremely orderly and well organized, owing to a developed past and the enlightened educational interference. Garo and Chakma languages have a slight Chinese hint to their diction. There lies an elementary similarity between the Garo and Magh languages, as both tribes belong to the same origin. Munda, Santhali, Kol, Khasiya, Garo, and Kuruk are interrelated languages. Munda and Karuk regarded as equivalent languages due to the syntax and verbs of both are almost identical. Munda, Santhali and Kol languages are even more ancient than the Indo-Aryan languages. These tribal languages further belong to Austro-Asian, Indo-Chinese and Chinese-Tibetan, Tibeto-Burman or Dravidian families. As these tribal groups have mostly migrated from places mentioned above, they have adapted their languages principally from those nations. Some of the popular languages spoken by the tribes of India are as follows: Bhatri, Billi, Bunjia, Chakma, Chhattisgarhi, Dhanki, Dhodia, Hundari, Gadiyali, Gamit, Garashia, Gojri or Gujari, Gujarati, Hajong, Halbi, Harauti, Hindi, Jaunsari, Kachhi, Konkani, Marathi, Mavchi, Meunri, Nagpuri, Naikadi, Nimari, Oriya, Rathi, Sardohi, Shina, Tharu, Wagri, Warli, among many others. Let us now see the Indo-Aryan tribal languages. From time to time, the number of the tribal languages varies. Indo-Aryan tribal language speakers are distributed and scattered over a huge geographical territory of the country. The speakers of this family of tribal language are located in the northern, eastern, western and central portions of India. More than 574 mother tongues comprise of this family of tribal language in India. Some of the languages are supposed to have great literary traditions and activities. In the family of Indo-Aryan tribal languages, there is actually no dearth of literature. Among the tribal languages spoken under the Indo-Aryan families, the three main languages are Bhili language, Khandeshi and Halabi. These three languages have been categorized as tribal languages. They are mainly spoken in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. Khandeshi group of language in the Indo-Aryan family of tribal languages comprises almost 5 main mother tongues. Kavari and Katkari languages belonging to the Indo-Aryan tribal language family are spoken by people of areas of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. It is spoken by the tribes of some parts of Gujarat and Maharashtra. Tribes of the state of Jammu and Kashmir speak Kishtwari, belonging to the Indo-Aryan group of tribal languages. They also converse with each other in the Dogri language, which is a blending of other languages like Sanskrit, Punjabi and Persian, dating back to the Indo-Aryan group of Sanskrit. Koch is spoken by tribes of Tripura and Assam and in Kuch Bihar district of the state of West Bengal. Konkani and Goanese are two very popular Indo-Aryan tribal languages that are spoken in coastal areas of Maharashtra and Goa. Hence, looking at the number of states which speaks these tribal languages shows us that there can be no one specific area identified to a particular tribal language which on the other brings us to understand that the people in the past had migrated and immigrated from time to time over centuries, hence proving an amalgamation of cultures. The third main language of this group of tribal language, that is the Halbi or Halabi, is spoken by over 5.25 lakh people in the states of Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. Thus, 26% of the total population of the country speaks these major tribal languages belonging to the Indo-Aryan family of languages. The Tibeto-Burman tribal language family of language is mainly spoken in the northern and northeast regions of India. Since the languages spoken by this family of tribes is also similar to that of the language spoken in Myanmar, hence the name Tibeto-Burman. 9 languages of the Bodo subfamily of the Tibeto-Burman language family constitute the largest group of tribal languages in the country. These major 9 languages of this subfamily are Bodo, Garo, Tripuri, Mikir, Rabha, Dimasha, Lalung, Deori and Koch. These languages are spoken by over half of the tribal population spread in the Brahmaputra Valley, North Kachar Hills in Assam, Meghalaya and Tripura. Languages that are belonging to other subgroups of the Tibeto-Burman tribal language family are spoken by smaller number of populations. Like for instance, 24 languages of Naga group forms 19% in the states of Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh and North Manipuri Hills. 25 languages of Kuki-Chin group forms 15% in the states of Mizoram, Manipur and Tripura. Here the prominent languages are Lushai or Mizo, Thado and Paite. The Tibeto-Burman tribal language family has been divided into 3 separate branches, and these are Tibeto-Himalayan, Assam Burmese and North Assam. Further, Tibetan and Himalayan groups are 2 of the major groups of this family. 2 other prominent tribal communities of the northeast, those belonging to the Naga group and to the Kuki-Chin group, Lushai or Mizo, have after a long drawn agitation succeeded in acquiring a degree of autonomy in the federal setup. But the most numerous tribe speaking Bodo, along with Mikir and other allied languages like Rabha, Dimasa, Lalung, etc., in the same subfamily of the Tibeto-Burman tribal language family, constitute only 5 to 6% of the total population in the entire state of Assam. Among the tribal communities that belong to the Bodo ancestry, Garo speakers form the majority in 4 districts of the state of Meghalaya, and Tripuri speakers along with their allied communities Riang, Noashia, Jamatia are concentrated in Tripura itself. But with the continued emigration of the Bengali speaking population in these areas, the region has seen a tremendous decrease in the language spoken from 40 to 20%. Many of the languages belonging to the Tibeto-Burman tribal language family have been affected by the Indo-Aryan languages and are restricted to the valleys only. However, Tibeto-Burman tribal languages are spoken by the huge tribal population of the country extending from Ladakh to northeastern region of the country. This language is also a subfamily of the Sino-Tibetan family of tribal languages. For example, on the western, northern and the southern borders of the country, Garo tribal people speak either Bengali language or closely connected dialect of Assamese language. The influence of Bengali language is generally strong among the Gar tribal community of Bangladesh, as in this country the mode of all primary education is Bengali. The impact of Bengali as well as English language over Garo language generally comes with the borrowed words. Bodo language is written by using the Devanagari script. It also has a history of using Roman script. Bodo language shares some common salient features with the other language belonging to the Bodo group. Bodo language is one of the popular Indian tribal languages. This language belongs to the Tibeto-Burman language family, which is a subgroup of the Sino-Tibetan language group. It is mostly spoken by the Bodo people residing in the northeastern region of India and also by the people of the neighboring country, that is Nepal. Bodo language has got the status of one of the official languages of the state of Assam. Bodo language is closely associated with the Dimasa language of the state of Assam and with the Garo language of the state of Meghalaya. This particular language of this Tibeto-Burman family is due to Bodo struggle of the tribes of northeastern part of India. It has attained numerous recognition and it is now also used as one of the official languages in India. The language also has postgraduate diploma courses in the state of Assam. Garo language is one of the most popular languages of India. It is spoken by majority of the people residing in Garo Hills in the state of Meghalaya. Garo language is also popular in several districts of the state of Assam like Dhubri, Goalpara, Kamrup and the Darang. This popular tribal language is also spoken in the neighboring countries of Bangladesh. Garo language uses Latin alphabets. This language also has a close association with Bodo language. The language is spoken by the Bodo tribal community, which is one of the most prominent communities of the Indian state of Assam. Garo language belongs to the Tibeto-Burman language family. Garo tribal language does not comprise any tones. Interestingly, the syllable structure of this language is very similar to that of other Asian tone languages. Syllable boundaries in Garo language are phonologically very sharp except in the borrowed words. Let us now understand the Dravidian tribal language. This family of language spoken in the Indian subcontinent mainly comprises of the tribal languages spoken in the southern parts of the country. In the states of Chennai, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, etc., the group of Dravidian tribal languages is spoken by near about 158 million people. They account for a total of 24% of the total population of the country. In the Dravidian language group, there are basically 4 prominent literary languages, and these are Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada and Tamil. Some of the initial languages in this family, such as Kudu, are not considered to belong to this family of languages since it has been merged with the Kannada language. A lot of the languages have been included as mother tongues, and the most important among them are Kolami, Kui, Konda, Koya, Gondi, Orao, Kuruk, Parji and more. Little information is available regarding the Dravidian tribal languages. Thus, it can be said that the Dravidian tribal languages are mainly Kaikadi, that is another major Dravidian tribal language that is spoken by the Kaikadi tribes in several parts of Karnataka and Maharashtra. Another Dravidian tribal language is Kanikaran, that is spoken in Ernakulam, Thiruvananthapuram and Kozhikode districts of Kerala and Tirunelveli districts of the state of Tamil Nadu. Konda Dora is another Dravidian language and it is spoken in several areas of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. Koraga is spoken in parts of Kerala. Kota is another hugely spoken Dravidian language. It is mainly spoken in parts of Tamil Nadu. Koya is spoken in several parts of Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. Its main dialects are Podia, Malakanagari Koya, Chintur Koya, etc. Kamar is another tribal language belonging to the Dravidian family and spoken by the tribal communities in areas of Rewa district of the state of Madhya Pradesh and in Raipur district of the state of Chhattisgarh. It is also spoken in parts of Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Maharashtra and Odisha. Let us learn about some of the Austro-Asiatic tribal languages. These languages are spoken mainly in states of West Bengal, Jharkhand, and in some parts of the northeastern states of India. Khariya language is an Indian tribal language that refers to a tribal or Adivasi group of the country. This language belongs to the Austro-Asiatic language family and is mostly spoken by the tribal people living in the states of Jharkhand and Orissa. The other major Khariya speaking states are southern Bihar, northern Orissa, Assam, and eastern Madhya Pradesh. It is generally believed that Santhali language is much older than the Aryan language. Currently, the Santhali tribal language is not much in use anymore. The Santhali Pandits use the language for literary works and religious documents. This language is very famous for its numerical classifier, which is alien to those of the Dravidian family of languages. Santhali is an Indian tribal language that belongs to the Santhali subfamily of the Austro-Asiatic language family. This language is very closely associated with Ho and Mundari languages. It is also spoken in neighboring countries of India like Nepal, Bangladesh, and Bhutan. In India, this language of the Austro-Asiatic language family is spoken in the states of Assam, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Orissa, and Tripura. Santhali language is mainly spoken by the Santhal tribal community. This tribal community is the largest tribal community of the country, and the people of this tribal community are considered as quite backward. Most of the people of Santhal tribal community work in coal mines or steel factories of Jamshedpur and Asansol. Santhali language is basically a dialect of Munda tribal language. Khasi language, a popular Indian tribal language, belongs to the Austro-Asiatic tribal language family. It is spoken mainly by the tribal people in the state of Meghalaya. This language is a part of the Khasi-Khuimic group of languages. Khasi language is vaguely connected with the Munda branch of the Austro-Asiatic group of languages that is mainly found in East Central region of India. In India, most of the speakers of the Khasi language are found in the state of Meghalaya. However, this language is also spoken by a huge number of people of the hill districts of the state of Assam. Quite a few speakers of Khasi language are found in the neighboring country of Bangladesh. Khasi language is tremendously rich in legends and folk stories. Interestingly, this language had no script of its own in the past. It can be said that the various dialects of Khasi language, namely Standard Khasi, Langring, Bhoi, Nongtang, and Lingham, show the extent of diversity found amongst them mainly from the word order point of view. Among the 5 varieties, Standard Khasi, Langrin, and Lingham are similar, whereas Bhoi and Nongtang are very different. Lingham, though is similar to the first, is quite different in various other aspects. Let us now discuss tribal art. Another field in which the tribes of India have gained recognition is in the field of arts. Tribal art has been prevalent since centuries, from the time India came into existence. In the earlier civilizations, such as the Indus Valley civilization or the Mohenjo-daro civilizations, art as a whole has been a part and parcel of tribal life, society, and culture. Indian tribal art is rich in its expression and have a sense of sensitivity and creativeness. Traditional Indian tribal art tries to wholly recreate the immortal charisma of Indian tribal life. Through solemn efforts, the Indian tribes try to keep alive a culture that is thousands years old, comprising music, traditions, rituals, and art. They live in complete harmony with nature by preserving their resources and blending with the environment. Tribal paintings usually belong to the remote tribal regions, in forests or high up in the mountains. The tribal art has developed to gain significance in the modern world, encompassing several dimensions. Its rich exotic and intense forms of art can be seen not only in the Gond, Kurumba or Saura paintings, but also in the daily woven shawls or other forms of art such as pottery, home decorations, handicrafts and ornaments. The rural folk paintings of India bear distinctive colorful designs which are treated with religious and mystical motifs. Some of the most famous folk paintings of India are the Madhubani paintings of Bihar, Patachitra paintings from the state of Orissa, the Nirmal paintings of Andhra Pradesh, and other such folk art forms. Tribal art, with its full energy and life, ethnic, vibrant, and colorful in its forms, has gained significance in the mainstream art forms. Tribal dance, tribal music, tribal handlooms, handicrafts, and paintings have become a daily product of most of the Indian households today. It is a tedious task to encompass the cultures and traditions of each and every tribe existing in India, since they are numerous. However, the overwhelming fact remains that India, being the multicultural, multi-ethnic, multilingual, multi-religious country, shares a very important sense of unity in its diversity. It is believed that languages form community, communities form a society, and a society forms a nation state. Hence, the Indian tribal languages, being diverse in its kind, forms the basis of the Indian democratic, sovereign, federal and republic constitution. Amid several languages, cultures, traditions, religion and socio-political conflicts, it still remains a country of diverse qualities and the largest democracy in the world. So learners, I hope you have got an idea about tribal languages and tribal art in India. In the next session, I will cover the tribal culture in several parts of India. Thank you.